Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, you're welcome. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And to all my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your constant support. So in today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys how I made this flared dress with a trumpet sleeve. If that's something you're interested in, keep on watching, and please make sure you watch the video to the end, and don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share. So guys, to make this dress, I'll be making use of this African print. I have 6 yards here, and also my tape measurement and scissors and all the other sewing equipment. So the first thing you're going to do is to fold your fabric into two, like in a triangle shape. So after folding it like this, then I'll come to this side to take my measurements. So this folded side will be the center front. So I'm going to start my measurement here. So I'm going to measure my shoulder measurement divided by 2. So I'm going to mark whatever I have. I'm going to mark it here. And then I'll draw a straight line here. So this here will be our shoulder line. This new line will be the shoulder line. So what I'm going to do is to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2, and then whatever I have, I mark it down here like this. So after that, I'm going to come down on this shoulder line, this line. I'm going to come down by 1 inch to create the shoulder slope. So I'm just going to connect this new line. I'm going to slant it back to the shoulder line. From here, I'm going to divide my armhole measurement by 2. So when you're taking your armhole measurement, you're not going to go like this. You are not slanting, you're going to come straight. So in order to get that, you can easily measure what you have here, and then you measure it here as well before you measure your armhole measurement. So this will guide me to have a straight line. So I'm going to divide my armhole measurement by 2. So whatever I have, I mark it down here. And then I extend that line. And then I extend the line here to this side. So after that, I'll work on the neckline. So for my neckline, I'm going to come down by 2.5. The actual measurement I will be working with is 2 inches plus half inches sewing allowance. That's 2.5. And also I go in here by 2.5 as well. Then I curve it to create my neckline. So that's the neckline. So we come down on this line here, and then we divide whatever we have from here to here. We divide whatever we have into 2. And then we mark the midpoint of it. So after that, I come in by half an inch. So now on this line, I'm going to measure my bust measurements. So my bust circumference divided by 4. So I mark whatever I have, I mark it down here. And then I add 1.5 inches sewing allowance to it. And then I'm going to connect this point to this point to create my armhole. So this is the armhole. So after that, I'm going to measure the length of my dress. For this length, it's optional. You can use any length that you want. So here I am going to work with 35 inches length. So for the side, I'm not going to cut straight. So I'm going to take our ruler and then slant the line. The line is not going to be straight. You need to slant it towards the end of this. So you're just going to slant it like this. So you're just going to slant the line. So this is what I have after I was done cutting. You see how nice it's looking already. So I'm going to set this aside and then work on the back part. So for my back, I just went ahead and fold the fabric into two like this. I didn't slant it, it's folded into two like this. So what I'm going to do is to mark 1.5 inches for zipper allowance. So what I'm doing now is just marking 1.5 inches for my zipper allowance. So after that, I'm going to place my front piece that I cut. I'm going to place it right on top of this new piece that I fold here. So I'm going to place it right on top of this back piece. So I'm just going to use my pin to hold them together. So on this neckline, I'm going to extend the shoulder measurement like this. So here I'm going to come down for the back neckline. I'm going to come down by 1 inch. Down by 1 inch because this neck is going to be a turtleneck. So I come down by 1 inch. That's the only difference between the front and the back neckline. So I just go ahead and curve my neckline like this for the back neckline. So that's the only difference between the front and the back. The difference is the neckline. This one, for the back, I come down by 1 inch, and then for the front, I went down by 2.5 inches. So now I'm just going to cut it out. For me to do is to measure how long I want my zip to be. Then I mark it down here. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and take it to the sewing machine and stitch it down from this point to the end of it. And then I will add my zip to it. So I'm going to stitch from this point to the end of the dress. Depends on the length of the zip you are working with. I'm using a short zip, so which gives me 7 inches. So I start my 7 inches here and then I mark it. So I'm going to stitch from here to the end of the dress. So this is what I have after joining them together, and also I went ahead and put the zip as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is to join the shoulder together. So I will take my front piece and then go ahead and join the shoulder together. So now that I have joined the shoulder together, I'm going to go ahead and cut the collar for the neck. So I have this piece of fabric here that I'll be using to cut the collar. So I'm just going to place the pattern that we drafted earlier and then place it. The one which is for the center front will be on my folded side like this. And then I'll be cutting two of it because I'll be using one as the actual collar and then the other one as the lining, like the facing of it. So I'm going to take this to the sewing machine now and join them together. But if you want your collar to be very strong, you need to iron stay into it. So I don't have any stay available at the moment. That's why I'm not adding stay to it. But if you want it to be strong, it's a must. You must add stay. You must iron your stay into the collar, both the lining and then the fabric. So you must iron the stay into it. So what I'm going to do now is to place it right on top of each other with the right side facing each other, and then I'm going to half an inch allowance, and then I sew them by half an inch all the way here. Then also when I get to this side, I will also leave half an inch allowance. I will show you guys what I mean after joining them together. So here is the band after joining the two together. So here is the half inch allowance that I told you guys about. So here is the half inch allowance. So what I'm going to do now is to get the center of this band, this collar. So I'm going to get the center of it, and then I'm going to just quickly notch it. So I'm going to place a notch on it. And then for the dress, I'm also going to get the center of it like I did on the collar. So I'm going to get the center of it, the midpoint of it, and then I cut it, I notch it like this. So I'm going to connect the band together with the dress. So I'm going to place the midpoint of this, the collar, together with the, so I'm going to start joining from the inside. So I will place this band here like this. I'm going to place it and then use my pin to hold the two center together. I don't know, I hope you guys can see it very well. So I'm going to use my pin to hold the middle of the middle of the band and then the middle of the dress. So I'm going to use my pin to hold them together. And then I'm going to extend it till the end of the neckline. I'm going to go ahead and take this to the sewing machine and then join them together. So guys, I made the first stitch already. This is what it's looking like. So what I'm going to do now is to make sure all the zipper allowance is inside, and then the remaining piece that we have here, I will use it to, I will fold it in like this, use my pin to hold them together. So I'll fold it in like this and then use my pin to hold them together, and then fold it in all through the end of the band. So what I'm going to do now is to go to the sewing machine and then do a top stitch round. So I will do a top stitch as I fold it in, I do a top stitch as I fold it in, I do a top stitch all the way to the end of the band. Guys, this is what the neck looks like after I did the top stitch. You can see how nice it looks. So So I just close the zip, and then after I finish everything, I will add the button to it, and this is what we have. So for the sleeve, I already went ahead and drafted a basic sleeve pattern. So now I'm going to turn this sleeve into trumpet sleeve. So to get the trumpet sleeve, what I'm going to do is to whatever measurement I have here, I'm going to divide it into 4 equal parts. Into 4. So whatever your sleeve measurement is, you are going to divide it into 4. So that's what you see me marking out now. So now that I have marked all the points, I'm going to draw a straight line like this. So after marking this, I'm going to cut on each line, leaving about half an inch on this top line. So I'm not going to cut it all through. So I'm going to cut it till like half an inch on each line. So you guys can see what I have now after cutting it. So you guys can see what I have. So I'm going to transfer this on my fabric. So for the sleeve, I just went ahead and fold my fabric into 4 because I will be cutting the 2 sleeves together. So and then I place the pattern that the sleeve pattern that we drafted earlier, and then the interval between each of these is 2 inches. The interval is 2 inches. If you want it to be wider, your interval can be like 3 inches or 2.5. But this is how I want mine to be. So it's 2 inches each. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut my sleeve. So I'm not cutting it all through to this side. I'm not cutting it like this. I'm just going to cut this armhole area and then this side. So if you like, you can shape it a bit to like curve it a little bit, or you can leave it straight. But for me, I'm just going to curve it a little bit. And then I also extend the length because I want it to be a long sleeve. So I also extend the length by about 4 inches. So the length depends on how you want your sleeve to be. If you want it to be long, then you measure long sleeve. If you want it to be short, you measure short sleeves, or 3/4, you measure 3/4 sleeves. So guys, this is what the sleeve is looking like. So now I'm going to notch the center of the sleeve. So I'm just going to put it together properly and then notch the center of the sleeve. So now I will attach the sleeve to the dress. So what I'm going to do is to take this shoulder and then the center that we notched earlier. So I'll place this center that we notched earlier together with the shoulder and then use my pin to hold them together. So I'm going to stitch it all through the end of the armhole. You see it's the same size as my sleeve. The sleeve armhole is the same size as the dress armhole. So I'm just going to place them together and then take it to the sewing machine and stitch them from beginning to the end. I will also do the same thing for the other sleeve as well. So guys, this is what I have after I was done joining the sleeve together with the dress. So we're almost done. What I'm going to do now is to join the seam, the two sides together. So I'll turn it to the wrong side and then take it to the sewing machine. So I turn it to the wrong side and then take it to the sewing machine and stitch it with the 1.5 inches allowance that I added to it. So I'll stitch it from beginning to the end of the dress. Then after that, I will fold the bottom part and also the sleeve. So guys, here is the finished look. You can see how nice and beautiful and simple it looks. So make sure you try out this dress. Thank you so much for watching to the end, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you subscribe, like, comment and share, and turn on your notification bell so you get to know anytime I upload new videos. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.